Welcome back to Who's the Best, a series on this channel where we don't decide who's the best. Mainly because, as we all know on this channel, theatre is what? Subjective! And everyone has their own different favourite. But in this series, we analyse a certain character, look at all the different actresses, and appreciate all the different ways that this character can be portrayed. Because I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, I was able to do a poll for this video, and to say it was close would be an understatement. Oh my god, it was close. But Elle Woods just about won. And so I've got my pink, I've pinked myself up. I could pink myself up more. I'll be pink till the day I die. I initially thought, oh, this would be an easy one to do. Calm one. There are about 20 different L's. There's over 20 L's. Just English language speaking L's. So to say I'm going to have to narrow this down is also an understatement. But let's do this quickly. To be able to fairly analyse performance, I can't do it from audio, I have to do it from video. And I need video of both of the songs that I'm doing. It wouldn't be fair to only analyse just one or the other. So on screen right now are all of the L's that I was able to find video for, and here is as many L's as I could find who have also played the role professionally. And of course, as we say on this channel, theatre is what? Subjective! So if we disagree on favourites, if we disagree on techniques that we like, that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly valid. And I welcome you to share your opinion in the comments down below, but remember to be respectful to everyone. Now, to analyse this, we need to know who Elle Woods is. So who is Elle Woods? Elle Woods is a character that needs to command the stage. I mean, she's basically on it for the entire show. She's energetic, cutesy, naive, but she has a certain drive to her. That means she can achieve these goals that seem unachievable. That's what I'm looking for in an Elle. And I think there's two perfect songs to look at Elle with. So Much Better, which shows her more joyous energy, and Legally Blonde, which shows what happens when she goes through those tragedies and when her drive is tested. We have a lot of L's to go through today, so let's start on a strong foot with our OG, Laura Bell Bundy. The pain Elle feels as she sees Warner propose to Vivian is so apparent in Bundy's still performance. But then there's a great journey she goes through when Emmett shows her the list. Her head darts around, her arms spurt up, she's bewildered, and Bundy does well to portray the comedy in the moment. She then goes over to Warner, and I love how she composes herself. She prepares to brag and tell you I told you so. And I think my favourite thing about Bundy's Elle is that she has this energy that's just under the surface that feels like it's bubbling, ready to explode at any moment. But she really takes her time to enjoy it. And oh my god, she has so much presence on that stage. It's an absolutely amazing performance and definitely set the stage for future Elves to come. Talking about future Elves, let's go to her Broadway replacement and the winner of The Search for Elle Woods. Honestly, I'm going to briefly say here that I really don't like this way of casting Broadway and West End shows with a reality TV show. Honestly, it just puts them at a disadvantage before they've even stepped onto that stage. It's a video topic for another day, and I will make that video. But let's take a look at Bailey Hanks. Hanks' slower verse is a bit more dreamlike than distraught. And this interpretation works too. Elle is a character who does delude herself quite a bit. And the idea that even a part of her still confides in this illusion does work with the lyrics. And honestly, I like the way how it builds from this kind of dream-like thing to eventually becoming a bit more upsetting and a bit more distraught. And then concluding with the joy at the sight of the list. Hanks also goes down the path of bragging to Warner, which I do like to see. Instead of exploding with energy, Hanks has this kind of confidence about her. And you know what? I really like this. That being said, I would have loved to see this confidence build even more as we get towards the end of the song, but that was very nitpicky. It's still a fantastic performance, and I love the little additions she makes to really make it her own. Becky Goldsvig, and I think that's how you pronounce her name, her heartbreak is so clear at the start. And then when she sees her list, I think her deer in the headlights approach really works. And I love how this slowly fades into what I'll call the softly freaking out. Instead of bragging to Warner, it feels like she goes over there because of how legitimately proud she is of her achievement. This is less malicious than some other takes, and I really like how this reflects onto her character. Now, this isn't to say that Goldsvig doesn't get some jabs in at Warner, because she certainly does. I haven't yet mentioned yet, but I'm going to have to mention here, is that before everyone leaves, Vivian shows Elle her ring. A lot of the other L's kind of take this and kind of look at it and give her a death glare or kind of take it upon themselves, but I like how Ghostface seems a bit unaffected by this. I think this is a really nice way to reflect the line, "I don't have time to cry, I'm too busy loving my name" upon that list. And also, I'm going to mention here, if an L opts up their second to last So Much Better, that is instantly an extra 5 points. Goldthwait is absolutely amazing in this role, and she is most certainly one of my favourites so far. Continuing on at a breakneck speed, Sheridan Smith. She opened the West End production, and she has a very different take on Elle. At first, I'm not the biggest fan of her opening verse, because personally I think it's a bit too smiley, but what I'll say is that I think Smith really captures the joy of Elle as soon as she sees that list. Smith has energy and commands the stage so well, especially in that last section of the song. From what I've heard, Smith isn't someone who's been through like performing arts college or all of that stuff. She's not classically trained, but she is a very capable actress and really strong in this role. Despite a start that I don't particularly like, it's overall a great performance and she really makes it her own. Haven Burton was a Broadway understudy, and in her opening verse, she really focuses on the pain Elle is feeling in this moment. Just see the way that she says upside down.
And I have turned my whole world upside down, try not to let go.
There's so much pain in that line, which makes the sight of the list even more thrilling. But throughout, Burton has this energy that I can't really describe, but she oozes this kind of confidence. The perfect example of this is Vivian's ring taunt. Unlike other elves who look at it and really take it in, she gives her a massive wave. She waves goodbye to her, and I love how this shows how she doesn't really care about this anymore. This has given her a new drive, and it's such a brilliant different take that really shows who this Elle is. With all that said, this is a great take on the role. Finally, let's look at our US tour understudy, Lauren Zachrin. Zachrin really takes her time in the opening verse to really reflect on what happened. She looks at herself up and down at the absurdity of what she's done to just get Warner's attention. And then casually, as she sees the list, takes us through about 20 different emotions at once. Her is goddamn hilarious. And actually, so is the rest of her Warner bit. I've got to say, her acting is seriously incredible throughout this song. And what makes it more impressive about the really layered performance that she gives is the fact that she's an understudy. Like, she doesn't get as much time on stage to really find out who Elle is. She doesn't have that time on stage to really expand on this role. She's not doing it night in, night out. And yet, the performance is so interesting to watch. It's so layered. And I just think that deserves so much credit. Everything she does is just so good. From her energy, to her vocals, to her acting. And yes, she gets bonus points because she does my favourite thing. She opts up. That's all that Elle's doing so much better, so who's my favourite? I think it's physically impossible for me to pick one. Every single one of them has something that really stands out to me. But if you push me on it, the ones I'd probably say stand out the most are how proud Goldswig is about herself, how amazing Zachrin's energy is, and Bundy for just being so iconic. We've also a massive shout out to Burton for really reinventing and going her own way with the role. But now let's flip on to the sadder side of Elle. This is a song Legally Blonde. It comes towards the end of Act 2. How do our Elves fare with this emotional ballad? Laura Bell Bundy gives us a very defeated Elle. Her arm gestures demonstrate this very clearly, while her line delivery shows how upset she is from her little gasps and the lines that she decides to speak.
Take back the books and pack up the clothes. Leave with what's left of my dignity. Get in the car and just go.
It's a really great technique to bring out that emotion. And I'll just say here, so I don't have to say it again, vocals, on point. And then she meets up with Warner, and instantly the connection between the two brings out even more emotion in the song. And it gets even better as the two separate and then sing over the top of each other. This performance is heartbreaking and beautiful, and my favourite bit about it is the random guy who shouts "Brava" at the end of the pro shot. Bailey Hank's Elle is trying so hard not to cry. And I love how this reflects onto Elle's character. She's so headstrong and determined as a character, and now that she's been completely knocked down, she still has to fight within herself to stay composed. But ultimately, this is a fight that she can't win, especially not when she meets up with Warner. Not Warner, Emmett. Have I been putting Warner in this script the entire time? Not Warner, it's Emmett. Emmett. You just see her completely break down on the I don't belong section. Still an overall amazing performance from Hanks. Ghostface Elle is really interesting because of how headstrong she stays in the opening verse. It's the next step up from Hanks Elle, I guess. You know, managing to stay strong during this bit. And keeping these emotions in balance really makes it heart-wrenching when she eventually breaks. What I really noticed when I was watching her performance is the contempt with which he says blonde.
Legally blonde.
This thing that she's normally really proud of is suddenly given this light of being a negative. Ghostface begins to break down in front of Emmett, and it really comes to a head when she delivers this line.
There's no reason for me to stay.
Which, oh my god, is just so upsetting for an Elle who's managed to keep it together up to this point. It's a really great performance. The opening of the song is very smiley from Smith, and I can see what she's trying to do, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I can see she's trying to present Elle as fighting the emotions a little bit. I don't think it works as well as it could have. However, the performance gets so much better and her technique works so much better when she meets up with Emmett. The bit I'll point to is the moment that Emmett walks through those doors and she immediately turns and she's like on the edge of tears and she just can't show her face. That is really powerful. Because in this version, Emmett actually confesses his love to Elle directly. So the fact that she's so conflicted and that she's trying to put on a smile works so much better when Emmett is right there and she's trying really, really hard to make sure that Emmett still feels okay. I think that's so very Elle Woods, and I really like that portrayal. Again, just like So Much Better, I'm not a massive fan of the way she starts it, but she really knocks it out of the park when it comes to that second section. Haven Burton was such a confident Elle that it's really upsetting to see her Elle in this moment. What I really noticed about her was her real appreciation, her genuine appreciation for Emmett and everything that he's done for her. Emmett is one of the last people here that she can really confide with. And I think Burton's delivery really helps portray this to the audience and really portrays the pain she must feel to have to say goodbye to him. Her final chorus is strong and powerful until she says the final line.
Some girls were just meant to smile.
She allows Elle to have this outburst of emotion that she's been trying to withhold in this moment. And her It's Not Up to Me, Just Let Me Be Legally Blonde really gets to me in this moment. It is a very strong performance.
It's not up to me. Just let me be.
Finally, Lauren Zachrin. Zachrin is an Elle that looks a little bit younger, and I think the innocence really makes the emotion hurt twice as hard. She closes her eyes, trying not to let the emotion get to her. Can I just say, her voice in parts is just so soft and beautiful.
Where I know, in my own very small land with my friends, when I grow to it and just drive.
And then Emmett enters. This is where her Elle kind of changes, because when Emmett's in the room, she is trying so hard to keep herself together. A moment that really stood out to me is that Zachrin smiles when she sings the line, "You are the best thing about this place." I think this really portrays to the audience that Elle feels the same way that Emmett feels about Elle. Zachrin's Elle also gets the admission of love straight to her face. And honestly, this moment, oh my god, the way she freezes. When she turns around, she starts with an expression of shock, which slowly morphs into happiness and joy. But then she realizes that she has to go. And that again fades into this despair. It's such a layered performance. The way it moves and goes on and evolves, it's so human, and oh my god, she's such a good actress. And again, she's an understudy. She doesn't get as much time to develop this performance, but it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. This is a masterclass in acting. It's amazingly layered. It takes you on a massive journey, and it's just incredible and deserves recognition. Somehow this category is even harder to pick for than So Much Better, because again, all these elves just give amazing performances. This is why I love doing this series, because it really allows me to appreciate how much each actor brings to a role. If you push me on a favourite, I'll probably say Zachary here, just because of how layered the performance is, but Bundy, Goldsvig, they're also incredible. Smith, while I didn't really like how she opens it, really sold it to me in the end. Just every performance here is incredible. And that's the thing. Elle is such a hard role to portray, and every single actress here does an amazing job. One could say every single one of these Elles are so much better at being Legally Blonde. But that's it. That's the video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and consider hitting subscribe. If you have any suggestions on future roles that I could do on this series, please let me know in the comments down below. There are some other videos on screen for you to enjoy right now, but that's it for me today, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!